All right, so this one it comes from 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, 8th chapter. It's a short verse. 8th chapter, 9th verse. So it reads, "But beware lest somehow this liberty of yours become a stumbling block for those who are weak." Right? This is Paul talking to the Corinthian church. And really he's talking about a few different things, but the point that he's making is that some people they had freedom to do, they had freedom to make a broad range of choices, right? So the people who were weak were kind of limited. They couldn't. So the people who were healthy, people who were free, they were strong enough to endure some things, and the people who were weak were not strong enough to endure some of those things, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm strong, or let me be the weak one. Let's say you're strong, and you can endure a range of things, but I'm weak. I'm a child. I can't endure it, right? So Paul is saying to the people, just because you're strong and you're free and you're able to endure all these things, don't forget about the weak person in your midst. Because your freedom can be my destruction, right? If I can't handle it, and you are doing it freely, then it can hurt me, right? So in some churches, we've seen this with, some churches use alcohol for communion, right? Mm-hmm. So then they may have some people who are recovering from addiction in that church. Mm-hmm. Right. So then the whole church may switch to grape juice. Okay. So that they don't tempt the person who's recovering, right? Right. So now they're free. They can drink a thing of alcohol and it doesn't bother them. It doesn't hurt them, right? They're free. But the person who's recovering who's struggling with addiction, they take one little capful, it sets them on a whole new path, right? So they can't do that. So now we talk about the food that we eat, right? Talk about the food that we eat. And really, when Paul wrote this verse, he was actually talking about food and people believing whether they could eat food that's been sacrificed to idols or not sacrificed to idols. So some of us, let's say you're healthy, right? Let's say you don't have hypertension, your cholesterol is good, you don't have diabetes, you're not obese, you're not overweight, you just good, right? Right? But then I walk in the room and I have hypertension and I'm struggling with all these different health issues, and we're gonna have a dinner. You and me gonna have a dinner. And the person who's healthy, they sit down, they healthy, and they order fried fish and fried chicken wings and things like that, right? Yeah. Now me, who's unhealthy, I really want some. I really want some of them wings, especially you put that Old Bay dust on it, right? You put that Old Bay dust on it. I'm gonna need me a wing, right? So, if you exercise, you may eat that chicken wing, you may eat that fried fish, but it's not gonna harm you none because you're healthy and all your levels are good, and it's not gonna do you a lot of harm because overall you're healthy. But for me, it could actually do me great harm, right? It could actually do me great harm. My blood pressure may raise to a high level. I could easily have a stroke. There's all these other bad ailments, all these things that could happen to me. So the point of the lesson is to say, hey, when you're in community, you have to eat with the community in mind, right? So if I know that there's people in the community who are struggling with hypertension, then I probably should not bring a salty dish, right? I'm tempting that person to eat that dish, especially if I eat it right in front of their face and we sitting there talking and they can smell my breath as I'm eating it, right? I'm tempting that person, right? I know if we're eating in community and this person can't eat dessert, let's say they have diabetes, they can't eat dessert, at least sugar added dessert. And then I say, oh, well, pass the ice cream. Like that's that can be kind of cruel, right? And then even if we're inside of our immediate homes, a lot of times inside our houses, you'll find one person who has, somewhat decent health, and then one person who is a little less healthy. And for that person who's a little less healthy, in order for them really to improve their eating habits, really the whole household has to change, right? So if you are, let's say you're married, you got a husband, you have a wife who are sitting there, and the husband has hypertension or has diabetes or whatever, and the wife doesn't. If that husband's going to change his diet, then the wife may have to change hers also, so that they can both eat the same foods together. Sometimes you have to just stomach it, right? You got to endure for the benefit of the group. For the benefit of the group, right? Now I imagine that their spouses mean something to them, right? People want their spouses to be around. They want their spouses to be healthy. They want to go on vacation and that the spouse be able to move. They want to enjoy each other's company, and they want them to enjoy it to the full. And in order for that to happen, for many cases, you have to change your dieting habits as a family. Sacrifice. And the reality is that if you ate the healthier thing, it would help you too, right? Because if you eat the unhealthy thing, and the spouse is eating the healthy thing, eventually you're gonna be where the spouse is. Exactly. But if both of y'all eat the healthy thing, then both of y'all can be healthy together. Exactly. And then that the one who has a health issue doesn't deteriorate; they can actually improve. And y'all can live together. You can teach your children. You can teach your neighbors. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But that's what love looks like, right? Love looks like making changes for the benefit of the other person. If you're the wife, and you know that your husband can't eat ice cream for whatever reason, he can't eat ice. He's not supposed to eat ice cream, even though he enjoys ice cream. And she said, "Am I as the wife going to sit there and eat ice cream in front of his face?" And then finish the ice cream, send him to the store to get me another ice cream, and knowing that he can't eat it. She said that's torture for the husband, and that's selfish, and that she shouldn't do that.
But let's just go back to your scripture verse that you gave us, 1 Corinthians 8:9.
Yes.
It says that we ought not do that. That it doesn't matter if you are married or whatever. We should not subject anybody to that. Amen. If we think that we're going to cause our brothers or our sisters to fall, we are supposed to shun from that. No matter what and how it is, who it is. That's what we're supposed to do for one another. And it's in the Bible.
So
that's
wrong then for eating that ice cream on the way back home?
No.
That's the perfect way to do it. You're not, she's
That's
not
the perfect way
watching.
to do it, my brother.
She's not watching
That's the
you.
perfect way to do it.
She's not watching, but shun from the appearance of. Don't put it before the person. And the one thing that we're talking about food now, but there are other things that we often do that we need to be mindful of. Substance, period, or addictions, period. Yes. People need to be helped by shunning from it, so that our brothers and our sisters won't stumble and fall.
Exactly.
And fall, into those bad behaviors or things that they should not do.
Amen. I entirely agree. The food is not that important. That's what we have to like. The behavior is important, but the thing that we like so much, whether it be ice cream, whether it be fried food, whether it be meat, whether it be black coffee, whatever it is, that thing is not that important, right? Jesus didn't die for that.
No.
Jesus didn't die for beef.
No.
He didn't die for black coffee. He didn't die for fried chicken, right? He died for people. He died for the world. He died to save the soul of the person. So that has to be our focus, right? We're concerned about the people. And if that means that these other things have to be demoted, then so be it.